Hey everybody, well, I didn't have my tie on.
I forget.
Where's your tie?
Forget it.
We're good. Alright,
let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome to another DragonCon update from NerdSync Productions. I'm
Yes.
Scott.
I'm Bryce.
I'm Josh.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Trent.
And we introduce ourselves this time.
Yeah.
So that's good. This is officially the first full day of DragonCon, and I had a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys.
We have survived.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
It was so last night we all went through the program and like scheduled out what we're gonna do. I know at least me and Bryce scheduled that.
Yep.
I know you guys were just kind of like we have like one or two that we want to go to, then we'll just kind of chill.
Yeah.
And I apparently
didn't
ignored
really
I mean,
care.
honestly, the entire catalog was just so daunting. I mean, I just couldn't pick one except for some that really stood out.
'Cause I didn't even think about panels being here. I thought I'm going people watching. I'm like, I can do that for 30
Which you
days.
did.
In all
Perfectly
fairness,
fine.
people
Oh yeah, I did anyway.
very fun.
It
Which is why people dress in costume, for you to notice them.
Plenty
Exactly.
of cosplayers.
So yeah, like I know, I thought it was gonna be a very different experience than what it was, because I planned out I want to go to this panel, then this panel, this panel, and I realized you can't do that. You can't do every panel at every time thing that you want to do, because a lot of them you have to wait for hours in line to get into stuff. Like I wanted to go to like the next generation Q&A.
Or
That
the
line was too
X-Men
long.
thing.
The
X-Men
genetics
Because
of
the
X-Men.
bus
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
leave
bus-
until 9:45.
The very first thing we wanted to go to was the genetics of
Oh,
X-Men.
what about
Yeah.
breakfast first? Like before we get into
Oh
the
yeah, breakfast.
actual day.
breakfast
Yeah,
before you
real
do
quick.
that.
Genetics of X-Men was full. That's basically all that went. But
Yeah.
because the bus was late. So when we woke up this morning, we were told that we would get
Continental
a free
A free continental breakfast.
Yep.
We even went up to the front desk and was like, "Where's the free continental breakfast?" She said, "Floor 17." Never heard of a breakfast being at the top floor of a building. Oh, I
No,
thought it was
I
like in the
have
main
one-
meeting area.
Now I have once or twice. Like I thought this was like Dragon Con's own meal center. That's what I thought it
No,
was.
I just thought it was odd. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, that was
frequently.
weird because
Yeah.
on the lobby floor there was like a thing that looked like breakfast,
But
we
it
were
was
just like, oh, this is it.
$17.
It was like a restaurant
Yeah.
kind of deal.
It was a lot.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
So yeah, when we got up there, we were trying to look for signs that says like breakfast or something like that, and there was just one
There was a
door with like a
conference
glass thing. It said executive. What was it? Executive what room?
Yeah, it was just like
Executive
executive
It was
boardroom.
executive lounge.
boardroom.
Yeah.
Or lounge room.
Executive
Yeah.
lounge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
executive.
And I
lounge.
tried it first.
Yeah, and
because
he
these
kept
guys
putting the
were
card in, so it looked like he had a card that was supposed to be executive, but it just wasn't working. Tapped on the glass,
So
and the
eventually-
guy
I never
just
tapped
came
on the
by.
glass.
Somebody just let us
Aquarium.
in.
Oh.
I tried to walk my card and it didn't go through.
Oh, okay. I thought someone knocked
Yeah.
on the glass to get
And he
someone.
just
But the
came
dude
over.
just
the guy
came over and let us in.
and let us in, and we're like, oh, okay.
He probably
thanks.
looked the most official out of all of us.
I
so
was
that's probably
dressed
the
in.
reason.
I had a tie with this.
Yeah.
I was
No
like,
he's
one
probably
else
really
up
the reason
there
we
was
got in.
dressed up.
But I was the
some
only
people
one like
were.
at the door
Were
at
there-
the
were there
time,
people
so I don't
in
know how we got
costume?
in.
No, there were people in costume, but there were people dressed up.
Oh,
Moral
okay.
of the
As a
story,
cosplayer,
though.
that's I think of this is dressing up.
Moral of the story, though, we get in there and it's a bunch of business people.
And then we're over here with like guns.
Nerf
And
guns.
blades.
Pokeballs, and I yell out, "They got eggs!" as I open it up, so that kind of gives things
Yeah.
away.
We're like little kids in like this room full of adults.
Yeah. The first thing I went for was the donuts.
Oh, that's
and
the
he
thing I
enjoyed the bagels.
I told you to go.
The
Yeah, the
bagels.
bagels.
Many
I
of
know
the
you did.
bagels.
There were
Right.
many a bagel.
Good donut.
And the whole time we were just there, nobody said anything to us. We definitely were not supposed to be in there
felt
eating
out of
breakfast.
place. Like
Yep.
I
How
felt,
did you
honestly,
feel out
I
of place?
didn't.
I know, as the person
You
who
were
was
the
like
one
the
who's
most
the-
appropriately fitting, I felt out of place.
I didn't feel out of place at all. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't even care anymore. I'm hungry.
I went over to the bananas, and I don't know why I said this out loud. It's like, hope they're not fake, as I just went to grab one.
Well,
Why would you say that?
This is a fancy place.
I didn't
so
know
maybe
that.
Fake.
Why'd you say
fancy
that?
It charged for everything else. Who knows? And
Yeah.
it charged
I
for
do.
fruit.
I do. Okay, I do have a complaint about this hotel. For as much as we're paying a night, we didn't get free continental breakfast.
We
and
don't really
snuck
have
into the
water
executive-
We
breakfast.
got free breakfast.
Yeah, we got free breakfast.
We're going back again. We're going back again.
We don't
But
have a
we
microwave.
don't have a
in the room?
microwave.
No
yeah, they
microwave,
didn't
no.
provide. In
Well,
order
and
to
our
use the
water
microwave,
pressure
you
is
have to go
horrible.
down.
Our water pressure
pressure's
is
a lot.
crap.
It is. It's really bad.
Let's get to the con.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Con.
So,
But thank you for giving us a place to sleep, Hilton.
yeah, thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Yep, we don't get it.
Yeah, so I know, like you guys said, you people watched for a lot of time, but you did go to a couple panels.
We went to-
Yeah,
What was
they got some really good
me-
footage.
Yeah,
Us two went
we're
to one.
filming. Yeah, we're filming a bunch of like awesome cosplay stuff that we're gonna put into like a wrap up video at the like a nice montage of all the best cosplay stuff. There's some great ones.
Dragon Call montage.
Yeah, and this is just the first day, and we have great ones.
First day.
Yeah.
So should we go down the line and say what we dressed up as, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're
So
gonna do that.
you guys together, obviously, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I am Dave Strider, and he's John Egbert from
John
Homestuck.
Egbert. Yeah, so we're basically
A
two of
webcomic.
the main characters from the webcomic Homestuck.
Two of the best ones, I think.
Especially we're also this is the god tier outfits, so we're basically like demigods. That's pretty sweet.
There you go. Josh, what are you dressed up as?
I'm dressed as a
have to
Pokemon
remember.
master. And
Master?
Master,
Trainer.
you said trainer. You said trainer this morning.
You can't promote
Everything
yourself.
just
the day,
changed.
a lot has changed in this day.
That's true.
I
You
started off as
decided
a
not
trainer.
to be a Pokemon trainer anymore. That's what you decided.
He wanted to be the very
You
best.
decided to make an
like no one
armor.
ever was.
That's tomorrow's cosplay, Trenton.
Oh.
Today's cosplay, I started off as a trainer. I became a master.
by doing nothing.
So-
Anyways,
Yeah, that works.
I had what they call a garter belt.
It's kind of a garden.
It's like a garter.
I had the Pokedex clipped up to this one on one leg,
You got
and
to open it
then
and show the iPhone in it.
it's not in there because I'm using my iPhone currently.
Oh.
I had to take lots of videos, and there's not a hole in there for that. And then the other leg had my 3 Pokeballs in it. And
Yeah.
I think it looked really cool. I felt awesome. I had no complaints, so I just...
and
Just some
a
people
lady
just
took
didn't
took your
notice you.
picture for her.
A lady took a picture.
grandson or
Yeah.
son?
Her grandson.
Grandson.
Yeah.
There you go.
I enjoyed that. That
Bryce,
was cool.
I don't think anybody has any doubts what you are. But
I
just
am,
to clear it up.
I am obviously Desmond from Assassin's Creed, more particularly in Animus Desmond, hinted by the black jacket instead of the white one. Would like to point out there were about 6 Desmonds that I saw.
Yeah.
white ones.
2 of them were awful, and all the rest of them were white jacket ones.
So
I am
if
the
you're the
only.
awful Desmond, sorry.
I am the only
Yeah.
reverse
Oh yeah, sorry if
Desmond.
you're the awful one.
I'm also the only one with an apple.
You
bead.
know,
Yeah.
nothing against
That's
them who put any effort into doing it.
Yeah,
Yes,
We're
but
like,
you
should've
tried.
did this.
Bryce is like, I just bought all of this stuff, and then
I know. I made the apple, but everything else I literally bought. So
I
Yeah.
made all
I
that
feel
stuff.
Oh yeah, and if you
do
guys
have to
want to
make-
know at least a little bit how he did it, there's it's on one of the NerdSync live episodes.
Yeah, I did talk about how
we
I
talked
made
about
this.
that on some of those. And then of course you have this
Yeah.
that your girlfriend drew.
The tattoo
Yeah.
actually underneath the hidden blade was
Is awesome.
Show that puppy. up.
amazing.
And I didn't notice
And-
there was a face in it before.
Yeah, done by my girlfriend. Thank you, Laura. I know you're out there
And
listening.
Bryce has been
Probably
over the
not.
past couple of days. Bryce has
Just
been
remarking himself.
retracing it over with permanent marker.
Yeah.
Because permanent marker, guys, is not permanent at all. It almost came off in the shower.
On the skin.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Because your skin cells replace
But-
themselves.
yeah.
So we're
But it
trying to
looks
convince him to
good.
get a tattoo.
it looks
good.
I mean,
Yeah, we keep telling him to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we
they're
don't
trying
know
to
if he
convince me to get it put on permanently.
Do something crazy at Dragon Con.
That's right.
I mean, and then of course Scott.
Hi. How's it going? Like I said, I had a tie. I was Agent Coulson from the Avengers, and this was my destroyer gun. And I believe I was the only Agent Coulson there, which was
Yeah,
The only one
I
I
think so.
We
I
didn't see any others.
Um,
and all the
if so,
Lokis
they
were
didn't have
female.
all the Lokis were female because I was looking
Every
for a
single
Loki to like do cool stuff, and we did find a girl Loki who was like who took pictures with
Who was decently dressed as opposed to all
And
the
who
other
did fan
Lokis.
service as well and like acted the part.
Yeah,
Because
she
there was one that got on the
awesome.
bus and we're like, Loki, and she's like, hi,
like,
and then just sat
okay.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is just my Nerf gun that I spray painted.
And then what's
glued
that little
together.
yellow thing
So this
there?
little yellow thing on the trigger, if you can
Yeah.
see that, when you walk in, you would expect, if you have weapons that you need to, check your weapons. And,
Like
and
any
so-
entrance door.
They don't do that. What they do is they let you just kind of roam around until one lady tells you, hey, is that a weapon? Do you have that tag? No, go down to the thing. We're not going to make you, but you should.
It's
And
like
so-
a walk-in thing. Like, I feel like being,
Yeah.
like, following the rules.
So what
But
they
Scott likes
do
following the
is they
rules.
take this
it's a
little
good,
zip
yeah,
tie
it's a good thing to do.
and they put it around, I guess, the trigger for some reason. And
So now when you load the ammo,
Because you
it
don't
just
know if
automatically
Scott
goes
was,
off.
yeah, Scott's a mastermind, and he learned how to actually make a
Put
real gun and then put a
inside of
Nerf
it.
body over
Well,
it.
you know, it's
course,
like
yeah.
so they can try it out. They play with it to make sure that it's a fake gun. But it's just like if you know it's a fake gun, then just wrap it around like somewhere else. So because now I can't like pull this back or do it, and I can't pull the trigger. So now it's just basically it's useless.
And
How
they
do you
could have
get
been a
that
different color.
Is my question.
yeah,
Yeah,
so they
it's
wrapped
very
it around
tight.
so tight that I have to cut it off, and I'm afraid I'm gonna
You're gonna
scratch up some of the paint, and it
Yeah.
makes me sad. But I don't know. They did that for a lot of people,
Yeah, I saw.
but not everybody.
No,
They're
there were some
very
people that had
lenient.
very real weapons that were not
Yeah.
sheathed
real
at all.
swords and blades, and they were just like,
And
oh,
they
plastic
didn't
guns,
have them
go
checked.
get those.
No.
They were not zip tied.
Or they just didn't listen to him. That could have happened.
Go do that. Oh yeah, sure.
But yeah, it was really
Whatever.
it was really fun. Nobody noticed who I was for the first couple hours, but then once people started to, it was really fun.
It became
Yeah,
a
people
chain
thought
reaction.
you worked at the.
Oh yeah!
convention.
So when I put my gun down, I was just wearing a jacket and tie, and they just thought some people went up to me like I worked at the hotel, which is pretty funny.
Hey.
So that's why next year we're gonna cosplay as the hotel. That would
they
be
say something like
hilarious.
that.
We should
The
do that.
hotel and the
That's
people who
Yes,
work at
where
Dragon
this
Con.
happened.
That room is that way.
All right, so we were talking panels earlier. Like I said, you three,
Four.
well, all four
Four.
of you went to one panel about
Yeah.
video games.
What type of gamer are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit.
Well, pretty much the game. It was basically, if you've ever taken like a personality type test, this is essentially the same thing, except finding your personality in playing video games.
They gave you
How-
a survey as soon as you walked in the door.
Right, and that survey basically tested how you play video games, how you experience it, and what you like, what you want to get out of a game.
Like
really.
how far you immerse yourself
Right.
in the game.
Exactly.
Do you get to keep the survey?
No, we had to
because
turn it
take
in.
The lady actually ended up using that for her own statistics.
Yeah.
But
Because she
that
does a
was pretty cool.
podcast,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
her and her friend.
Because
do
I
all
think
that.
I thought it would
But
be
of
cool
course,
if we could put it
since
up.
I
for
wished it was more like everybody, like she
Well,
talked about
do we-
everybody while we were there, because she really centered on the
Females.
girls.
She
Yeah.
was like female gamers.
I mean, like, I get what you're
female gamers,
saying.
female
I know
gamers.
it goes either
Yeah.
way.
And
but I
honestly-
would just
and I
like her to
mean-
say everybody instead of specifically girls.
Well, that's what they started with, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and see, that was the
Yeah.
thing too.
Because
is
that,
they-
yeah, that's
That
how
was
the
their
whole thing started.
original
They-
survey. That's where the survey kind of originally.
Where the idea came from.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, they took the surveys back, so now we don't have anything to remember even who they are.
yeah.
Well,
So
do you
like when we're
remember-
Well, I
talking,
follow
pretty
them on
much-
Twitter. I follow them on Twitter now.
yeah.
oh, you do?
Okay, well,
Yep.
then we can find
I'm a
it.
big social
Well,
guy.
do you guys
Yeah, should
remember
we
what class or whatever you were?
Okay.
Yeah, there
explain the
were
difference
three
first.
different classes of gamers.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was self, where it's like I'm this character, I do this, I'm going on this quest. It's my journey.
It's a very social thing.
Right, like you
use video
make your
games.
character yourself.
And you
like
live out,
it's based
you know.
after your gender, your hair color,
Yeah.
your height, your stature.
I don't do that.
The next one is role, and then that one
like
is
telling a story.
really go in depth of character. That
Yeah.
There's a moral
like their
struggle or
strengths
something.
aren't
That's-
They're
necessarily.
basically trying to
sounds more
tell
like
a
me.
story with their character.
That was 70% of what I am.
That
So I
sounds
am
more
definitely a role person.
30
Um,
of mine.
yeah. But then the third one was master.
Mastery.
Yeah.
Yeah, mastery.
Yeah. Okay.
And you
Christian
just
Shane.
have to go. Yeah, you have to go right after the main
Yeah.
goal. Like you start off the game. What do I need to go in a straight line to the final boss?
Well, not just necessarily that, but just win every
Win everything.
I
Get
want
100% of the game
Like be the
complete.
best.
Right. Instead of like the
Like,
role
no
player,
one
like
ever
going to
was.
this guy to find out what he needs to go to this person to go back there to make sure you get
You just go
everything along the
charging
way.
into a junk.
You're like, I got this.
You have
and the
to-
part of the
yeah.
PowerPoint and the presentation she said was really funny. Because it's like, all right, the mastery guy starts here, he spawns, then he goes to the main guy, and then the person goes off here, and then he dies, and he wonders where everyone went.
well, everybody else was trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah,
before
and
they
then-
charged in.
And then
Exactly.
the self person was going like all around the border to make sure that
Just
everything was
making sure
checked out.
everything was-
And then that was
Yeah.
really fun. Now the self person has time to go back to the start and then go along the track. So, but it was really good to see that with all those types of people, it makes for really interesting gameplay.
Yeah.
And the different ways that certain
certain people butt heads.
Yeah, certain types of gamers are better with each other, or
I believe.
Oh,
I'm hoping I'm going to get this right. Self and self get along really well.
Yeah.
Self and roll get along pretty well, but they can kind of butt heads sometimes.
But I remember that like
Self-
roll and mastery were terrible together.
Oh, I believe it.
Roll and mastery are awful because the mastery just wants to get stuff done, get in there,
And the guy-
beat people up, and
the
do
roll
stuff.
person's
Yeah,
like,
just be the
but
So, out of those 3 types, what do you guys think you are? So we'll go down the line here, Bryce.
Well, according to the quiz, I was 65% roll and 10% mastery. And then, of course, the remainder was in self. But I feel like I lean a little more towards self because, honestly, when I design characters for especially like MMOs, I try to base them after myself and I make the decision that I would make. But at the same time, I do give myself a backstory that's not my real life. So it's really kind of confusing.
It's
Okay.
both.
I'd say roll, though, because that's
Yeah.
what I scored highest in.
yeah, well, I said I was 70% roll, so that's completely true. Then self was 25, and then mastery was 5%. So that says a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was pretty split even. I was split dead even, like between self and roll. It was 45 and 45 for both of those, with 10% of mastery in between that. And I think that's honestly a fair assessment. Kind of like what Bryce was saying. You know, I tend to like, you know, I mean, like every time I make a character, it's like, what do you want your character's name to be? Jackson. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah, you
me,
always
but
do
I'm
that.
gonna be a superhero.
Yes.
So
Yeah, it always happens.
Or a wizard.
or a wizard.
I was all self, like mostly all self, and then like a little bit of I just forgot the word.
Roll.
Roll. And a little bit of roll.
So I guess it would be safe to say that we're all that masters.
We are definitely
No,
not-
that's
not
totally my
really.
brother and my dad.
Yeah.
It really
mastery.
is.
If I don't play with them.
I mean, I know for me, when I play Mass Effect, which is about the most.
Yeah, and that's what you
in-depth
said. That
kind of
Mass
thing.
Effect was really geared towards roll.
Yeah.
roll.
Absolutely. So what happened is when I started out playing Mass Effect 1, I wanted to make my character. I mean, I don't do the whole self thing. I want him to be better than I am. So I make him like this total like BA guy who doesn't take crap from anybody, and he's always angry, always gives renegade answers unless he's trying to romance somebody.
you can romance in that game?
In Mass Effect,
Yeah.
you get
Yes.
achievements
Really?
for it.
I did not know
Did not know this?
Yeah.
No, I never got
This
to
is,
play
that's
it.
like a yeah.
Yeah, there are.
That's one of
It's
the big
great.
things.
So
That's
no,
kind of
I gotta go
the big
play this
things
now.
in that. So
it's my favorite video
Yeah.
game.
Oh
ever.
yeah, never mind.
But yeah, like so I create this character who's definitely not me, but so in Mass Effect 1, you know, he's just really angry all the time with everybody except like the character I'm trying to romance. And then throughout Mass Effect 2 and 3, especially 3 when all of the characters come back, you know, I find myself not being angry with them because you know, the character that I've built has such great friendships with them. So in like the first game, I'm like all renegade. And then in the last game, I'm like almost all Paragon because I'm just so nice to everybody because now I have a history with everybody. So I just feel like I take that character and I try to make choices that he would make and not necessarily what I would make. Especially because that game has a lot of tough choices
Yeah.
in it. So, Bryce.
Ask him what type they would be.
Oh yeah, that's a great. If you guys think you know what type you are, I'm sure it's very easy for everyone to assess what type they are.
And then even if they want to take a quiz, we can send them to that.
Is it online?
It's not. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's
I
Follow
don't think
them.
it's
Follow
online.
them
It's
on
online.
Twitter
They said-
at gamer underscore.
Game.
Game underscore on underscore girl.
Yeah.
And then there's a
on
link
girl. That's what it
to.
is. Yep.
Yeah, game on girl.
Yeah.
There's a link to the
There's a
quiz.
link to the
Okay.
quiz.
So
Yep.
do that. If you want to take that and then post what you are in the comments below.
Or just if you already know from what
Yeah.
we said.
Yeah.
Then
Because Scott was pretty
let us know.
forward
Right.
with that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, I have a favorite panel that I sat in on of Q&As, but I want to first bring up the one that Scott and I almost attended, kind of, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that was that we both wanted to go see the Walking Dead panel because
Yes.
there were supposed to be 3 people from The Walking Dead.
And I was torn between Walking Dead and the Avatar Last Airbender panel, and I was just like, I'll just go with Bryce to Walking Dead, because when I was left alone, I couldn't find my way around anywhere. So I was like, I'll just go with Bryce, because I'm with Bryce right now.
So we're sitting there, and I mean, you know, we had already been to the Jason Frank.
Jason Frank, Green
and he
Ranger.
showed up about 20 minutes late. So when Walking Dead didn't show up on time, we were like, yeah, no big deal. They're stars, you know, whatever. Well, then they were 25 minutes late, and then they were 30 minutes late.
You guys
and
waited
I
a
left.
long time.
Finally, Scott
I
was just
leave.
like, okay,
Like,
I
to
got-
get in there, you guys waited a long time.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The
Yeah.
line for this one went up, it was 3 stories of line.
yeah.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Really?
So we
Yeah.
were in essentially the back of the line, and we got in and we sit down, and I can see at least a little bit of the projector, and I'm just like, yeah, let's do this, and it just they just didn't show.
Yeah,
of them showed.
Scott ended up leaving because he wanted to go. Where did you want to?
I wanted to go to the Next Generation Q&A, but then as soon as I got there, the line was even longer, so I was like, no, I'm just gonna leave.
But yeah, so Scott had been gone for maybe 20 minutes. So at this point, I had been sitting here waiting on this to start. They're like 45, 50 minutes after they were supposed to have started. And, you know, the people that were, like, stalling on the stage, like, telling really lame jokes and stuff, they were, like, running out of material. They just, like, had stopped talking almost.
So, how about
And-
this Dragon Con?
Yeah, some lady that was not up there the entire time just walks up onto the stage and goes, guys, the people from Walking Dead will not be able to make it today. Immediately, entire, like, audience, because this is a main event. This was not one of those little side things that you go to. This was in the main big theater area. And immediately when she says this, people just start cussing, and a guy threw a chair. It was nuts. And
been there
everybody
today.
starts running for the doors. Like, they had specific doors.
They're
You can't
running
go
away
out.
from that man.
They just,
Those chairs!
They were
Oh my
like-
gosh! He's the chair chucker.
there was a there was a specific like set of doors that you were supposed to go out of, and people just started piling out of all of the doors.
Do you think
They
World
didn't even
War
care.
Z.
Do you think somebody's gonna
yeah.
cosplay as the chair chucker?
That's
gonna be walking around with one of the chairs.
Yep.
Oh, that would
We
be
gotta look for
great.
that tomorrow now.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
But so
find
that
them.
so that happened though. But then after that, I ended up going to a panel that I was
Yes.
really excited about, which was the
I'm gonna say right now, be really quick about it because the battery's almost dead.
oh, geez.
Oh,
which was
gosh.
the Grimm panel. If you don't know what Grimm is, it's kind of like a sci-fi show based on the Brothers Grimm, you know, kind of fairy tale kind of stuff. But it's really kind of cool. You should check it out. But anyway, they had a panel there to do Q&As, and when they were there, there was one question in particular that made the sit there officially worth it. And if you don't want any sort of spoilers for the new season, this really isn't a spoiler because it doesn't technically spoil anything. But somebody asked the question directed to Monroe. She said, because Monroe and Rosalie are different species, would their child be a mix or would it be one or the other? And Monroe simply replied, you will have your answer in this season. Take that as you will.
Okay.
Everybody
Whoa.
freaked out.
All right. So I guess
So
that means
these
one
guys
of us
don't-
getting pregnant.
So yeah.
Wait, you gotta tell
Cool.
your story.
I have a story.
Yeah, you had a story because you didn't tell us in the car.
Yes. So
okay.
So I've been
Oh.
waiting
we
for
went
this.
to the
Yeah,
So
we've
before
been
the
waiting for this.
Walking Dead thing, we went to me and Bryce went to the Jason Frank. which
Jason
is the
Frank was awesome.
Green Ranger,
Okay.
White Ranger, Red Ranger, Black Ranger, all of these.
I wish I
different
went
things.
to
He was
this thing.
hilarious.
He was amazingly hilarious. And one of the best things, he was in the middle of like a rant because he just talks for really, really long time, like really fast, really long.
He said
no
he,
breaks.
he told everybody he has ADD.
So in this middle of this rant that is going on, all of a sudden someone's ringtone goes, bum, bum, ba-da-da-da, and he goes, what? I gotta go? What's that? And it's everyone was just like, oh yeah! It was just without a beat. Just as soon as that came on, like even before it was finished, he was just like, I gotta go. What's up?
Somebody's calling me.
It was wonderful. It
That's
was so funny.
funny.
But yeah, so I went to that one, and then I went to the Whedonverse panel, which was really cool. It had people from Buffy and from Dollhouse, and you really got some cool insight about Joss Whedon's writing. I'll probably talk about more of that later. But we got to wrap up. So let's do our favorite and most creative cosplay of the day. For
I'm
each
just
of us.
gonna say it.
Yeah. Go. We'll just go down the line starting at Trenton. Go ahead.
Okay. The coolest thing I saw today was I know I was gonna forget this name. Jackson, help me out.
The troll ancestors from Homestuck.
The most creative thing I saw though was Quail Man from Doug. I never thought I would see that, so I was impressed.
There you go.
Yeah. So for me, my absolute favorite would be Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls cartoon on Disney Channel. It's great stuff. He gave me a business card, Stanford Pines proprietor, buy 3 tours for the price of 4.
What savings?
Exactly. And I'd have to say the most creative was I was kind of surprised to see this guy. All of a sudden I turn my head and I see Willie Robertson from Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
He looked
Duck
just like
Dynasty.
I think that was his idea.
He was like the spitting image of it. He had like the America bandana.
Everything.
He had like the beard. It was like perfect. It looked like he had just walked off, walked straight out Duck Commander to come to Dragon Con.
Yep.
Josh?
Most creative, I'm gonna have to say this just because I didn't think of anybody doing that. It was Zoidberg, and instead of just like a mask or something, it was like some kind of like latex glove that was over his mouth so he could inflate it when he spoke. And that, I thought that was really funny, and that entertained me for at least a minute.
Yep.
And one of my favorite ones out of all that I saw today was an Optimus Prime, because I always thought it was really difficult to do an Autobot correctly, like as a cosplay instead of just a giant robot. But I think he really pulled it off, because he had lights all over the place, a really cool sword, and he was really interactive with the audience. So, and we got to get really good footage from him. So, kudos, Optimus.
All right, Bryce.
I would have to say, and don't judge me for this, Scott, because I know you will. My favorite, mainly because there was a lack of League of Legends characters, which kind of blew me away, because normally there's a lot of really bad ones. But there was one Singed, and he was in the Mad Chemist skin, but he had lights inside of like the tubes and everything, so it looked like there was actually like chemicals brewing inside of like the stuff that was going on.
Oh yeah.
And he had that giant metal shield and everything.
Okay, that makes
I didn't know what
sense.
that was.
Yeah,
It was really.
Was that your most
neat.
favorite?
That
or
was
most
my
creative?
that was my favorite.
Okay,
But my
okay.
most
Creative one.
because I've never seen this done before, like even on like recap shows and stuff, was there was a little boy that was Super Mario from Super Mario Sunshine. And I don't know how he did
I
it.
didn't know it was a
The
little
tank
boy.
on the bottom of the gun was a fishbowl, but the top, like everything that they crafted for it, just I don't know what they crafted it out of, but it just looked awesome. I was like, I've never. You see all sorts of regular Marios, but not that.
No, never.
So for me, personally, my favorite one is one I didn't even get to see really in person. I saw it from afar, and I thought it was awesome. It was Axe Cop from the comic Axe Cop, which is written by like I don't know, a really young kid. I don't know how old he is, but it's so funny. And then of course TV shows now. He has his own TV show because it's that awesome. But I thought that was cool. But the most creative one I thought was a girl who dressed up like a victim from the show Dexter, because when Dexter kills people, he wraps them in plastic to kill them, and she was just wearing plastic, like plastic wrap, and I was like, that's so cool. I
And
don't know.
hot, like
Yeah,
you've
like,
got
yeah,
to be
it's
sweaty.
boiling.
Yeah,
pretty
like
much.
like literally just baking. Yeah, not like a trap
Not like,
hot.
oh my god.
But just like
There's so
I'm
many.
not a-
Why guys are watching this? Oh my gosh, God.
Yeah.
So much plastic.
We'll wrap up right now, but we want to know if you guys want to cosplay as anything in the if you could cosplay as anything you want in the future. Or if you already have a cosplay ready to go.
Yeah.
What is it?
Like if
what,
you would
Yeah,
go
favorite
to
thing that
DragonCon.
you have cosplayed as, or something that you
want
would
to,
really like to cosplay
will,
as.
Yeah, your cosplay wish list. Put it in the comments below. We love interacting with you guys down there.
And remember to subscribe.
Please subscribe for
Somewhere.
more of these videos and other great videos as well.
Oh, yeah.
As we'll be pushing them out. And yeah, like us at Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we will see you guys tomorrow for another DragonCon update. See you guys.
See ya.
Awesome.
Cool.